Hello, my name is Edward Haletky. I'm with the virtualization practice, and today I'm going to talk about the 6 steps to cloud security. Now, this is very similar to a 12-step program. Okay? Now, I'm going to stand over here. There should be 12. I came up with 6. You can come up with the other 6 yourself. This is going to be fun. But the very first thing you need to do is define the hybrid cloud. I have a separate definition than everybody else. Mine's very simple. How do you access the cloud today? Anybody? Everybody has one of these? If you can access it through here, it's considered a hybrid cloud. Why? This is in the public network. Every part of this. Wherever you're going could be in a data center somewhere or on premises somewhere. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, given that's the definition I use, the first step after defining it is to admit you have a cloud problem. Come on, stand up. This is fun. Everybody stand up. You say it with me. I have a cloud problem.
I have a cloud problem.
How many minutes has been the last time since you accessed the cloud?
30 seconds.
There you go. That's actually pretty average around the world. I was doing a class like this and was asking everybody to tell me when they accessed the cloud last. And they're going, I never accessed the cloud. I'm going, excuse me? When was the last time you made a phone call? Before this class. When was the last time you used Google? When was the last time you searched the web? All these are cloud access points. And whether they're going into your data center or going into a cloud service, like a software as a service or infrastructure as a service, you're still accessing a cloud somewhere. Whether or not it's considered to be a cloud by your administrators, it's all about how you think about using it as the end user. As an administrator who may say, oh, that's just my virtual environment. Yeah, I self-provisioned, I have IT as a service, I can let you do anything you want in it, but they still have a problem. It's how it's being used is really kind of key. Now, when you have that hybrid environment and you have the cloud, it can be considered one and the same. Do you really care as an end user where you are going? You are going off your phone to somewhere, right? And if you're going to your data center on premises somewhere, is that important to you? If you're going to Salesforce or Google or Dropbox or whatever, is that important to you? Is it important to the administrator? It shouldn't be, but it is. It's because the administrator is trying to put boundaries on something that literally has no boundaries. They're trying to put this nice little crunchy exterior somewhere that you can't go through. But when I come here, I don't touch the Wi-Fi. And because I don't touch the Wi-Fi, I'm not touching anybody's firewalls. I'm going through whatever my service provider has for my phone. I don't have a crunchy exterior to go through. I have a really liquid environment. And we've got to think about it. It's a different mindset when you start talking about the cloud. You've got to think about that liquid environment. Where do you want to put your breaks? Where do you want to put the things that say, I need a little bit more authentication, or you know what, you can't go there. You're not the right person. And as an administrator, that's what you should be thinking about. That whole crunchy exterior, forget it. Doesn't work. Now, this is a little small over here. This is what it is. There is no more perimeter. What I was just saying, no crunchy exterior anywhere, there's no perimeter. Because there's no perimeter, I can't put a firewall in there and protect you. I got to think really outside that box. And if I don't think outside that box, I'm way behind everybody. Because everybody that's doing cloud today is thinking, okay, I need to put something inside that workload to protect myself, to do data protection, to do data loss prevention. But I also have to decide, is it really worth protecting that data? If there's no perimeter, and now everything's already on the cloud, by the way, most of your data is probably already on a cloud somewhere, just get over it. You need to figure out what was put on the cloud and whether or not you really care about it. Is it intellectual property? Rethink it. Is it really something that's critical to your business? Maybe it's 10 years old. Does it make a difference? If it's from yesterday, it probably does, which means you should have been tracking it the first time. So a lot of this is all about, if you've got a cloud problem, you've got data all over the place, it's really about tracking that data. Ignore the perimeter, nothing's going to stop that, but you got to be able to track everything. Admit your data is everywhere. By the way, it's even here on this laptop somewhere. You got to really understand how the users are accessing your clouds. You understand how IT manages that data. By the way, the two do not always coincide and work together. And now that comes up with a cloud acceptance, and you got to discover it. This is through discovery. If you can't discover how your users are accessing the cloud, and you can't figure out how you're trying to manage all that data, you're in a world of hurt. If your users never log into your system through the VPN and access the cloud anyways, any protection you put on premises is useless. So I actually went to a conference for security, and I went to this big security vendor. I said, what do you have to protect me from accessing a cloud and transferring data? They say, oh, you got to buy this big piece of iron. It has it all built in there. And I'm looking at them, well, what happens if I never touch the network? Well, everybody touches the network. It's like, yeah, LTE. I'm not using VPN. I'm not using Wi-Fi. If your users aren't using Wi-Fi, that doesn't help. So you got to think past that. So you need to discover the cloud. And there's a lot of tools you can do that with. There's a new set of tools, there's about 6 of them that I know of. Actually, there's about 9 of them, but I can't remember the names of all of them, that will allow you to discover what's going on in the cloud. You could sit there and sit with all the wire data you want and try to go through it. You probably wouldn't be able to recognize a cloud service just from that by yourself. One company has classified over 6,000 cloud services. Now, there's one organization that they classified that with. They came up and said, we're not using cloud at all, and they ended up finding 3,000 used by that organization that they didn't even know about. And that's because they said, oh, we're going to block Facebook and Dropbox and Box and all the really nice reputation ones and leave all these really bad ones. So it was really not good. So how do you do this? These are the tools that I recommend. They plug in either to your network on premises, or they actually plug into the cloud services you care about monitoring. Sky-high networks is one of them. And what that does is actually acts as a gateway device, so you really need to force everybody through your gateway, and you can do that using a Pineapple, which is actually kind of a cool device. Force them through your gateway, and you can find out what everybody's doing. Once you know what they're accessing, Sky-high does one thing further. It allows you to classify the access points, the cloud services by reputation. If you find everybody's going to a file server in the Ukraine, that's probably not a good idea. Or Brazil. Unless you have a manufacturing plant there, as the gentleman says, but you got to be careful about that. Or if you're in the US and everything's going to China, that would be bad too. If you have a Pineapple, it actually can do wireless too. It can break into LTE and 4G and the whole works. Hence why I say use those. Add-alarm is a tool that doesn't plug into your network. It's not on premises, it's actually in the cloud. You plug it into all the SaaS providers you know through SSO, and you monitor how people use your services. The two together is actually a really powerful combination. One gives you protection and monitoring for things that are outside your control. One requires you to force it through your network. Netscope, Elastica, Imperva, SkyFence, they're all very much like SkyHigh and Adelon. Those are the two types for here. So if you want to protect yourself in the cloud, the very first thing, step 6, is discover what you're doing. And that requires you to understand how the users are trying to access their data. They're just trying to get their jobs done. You need to gain the knowledge about that, how you manage things today, and then you can have a cloud security story. Thank you. Any questions? Okay.